Alright, what is up you guys? It is Jake State Farm here with Atomic Theory. Back with some more Atomic Chess, and we've got our Atomic960 match versus the GOAT Natso. We are on the clock here with a minute now after all the controversy from last round. We now get a minute for our first move. So I'm going to be taking my time here, thinking about G4, maybe E3. I like E3 opening. It seems to threaten a whole bunch of stuff here. The problem is he also gets a minute to decide how to defend this, so maybe the early queen attacks are not as effective now, now that he can take a whole minute to think. But yeah, if you guys missed it, what happened in the last round, so basically, I mean, the best thing you can do to catch up on most of it is just to watch my last video on it. But what we ended up deciding to do was that we would just replay the last game. So I was down 3-4, I was white, and we played, Leisha and I ended up playing one more game. And sadly, I wasn't able to film it, but I ended up losing that game. It was a very tense game. I actually missed like a mate in 6. I knew I was better for most of it. But yeah, at some point, he was just able to turn it around, and he is a very strong 960 player. So, congratulations to him. He truly did deserve it. And, the way that it happened was obviously kind of sucky, but it ended up, in the end, I feel like we handled it in the most fair way possible. Okay, I looked at this, but was thinking I can just take, and now queen c4 is obviously a big threat, so he's probably going to go like b5 though. But anyway, so now the update for the 960 is that I am sitting at 4 out of 5 points. Leisha just won this round, so he's at 5.5 out of 6. So if I win, I'll still be a half point behind him. Natso is I believe at 3.5, and then there may be one other person that's at 4. So if Natso wins, he'll be a full point behind, and it's going to be tough because he's also already played against Leisha. So at this point, it's certainly Leisha's tournament to lose. So I think at this point, Leisha's obviously favored to take home the crown. But yeah, we'll still keep fighting. I'm honored to be able to play against Natso. We just got done with our ACL match a couple minutes ago, and he ended up beating me in that, but definitely go check it out if you haven't already. It was one of the craziest matches that I've ever played. But yeah, we just got done with that, and it's cool to be able to play against. I love that the Atomic community is running all these community events. It's cool to be able to play against one of the best players in the world. And honestly, just to learn from him, this move b4 is very critical, by the way. Not only cutting off this queen, but also after it takes, I want to open up this bishop. So, but yeah, anyway, let's get right into this game here. Enough yapping. Let me start talking about the game now. Rook b3 is kind of a weird idea that could potentially allow for rook c3 later. I mean, a4 just seems like the most natural move, though, honestly. I don't fully understand d6. Maybe he's trying to get his rook out this way. But I would have c3 at the very least. He's the one that doesn't have a c-pawn. It's going to be tough for him to defend attacks. And let's not forget, I'm up a pawn here, so I really just need to get to an endgame, and I should be good. Although that's a lot easier said than done in 960. These games almost never actually reach an end game. So all right, looking at this weird move, knight h4. After it takes, I'd have g5, opening up queen h3. I'm just gonna go for it. I'm kind of behind on the clock, which makes it really uncomfortable. Oh my gosh, and I just hung bishop g2. Okay, but maybe bishop g2, I can bail myself out with knight f5. This attack here. Yeah, I completely missed bishop g2. I should have started with d5. I kind of wanted to play d5 anyway. But yeah, he goes for... Wait, why did I not think about that move either? Okay, I think I just got so excited. No, it's fine. I'll have queen h3, I think. Okay. Question is e4 or d5. I need to cut off his bishop here. I'll go d5. It gives him less options. He really can't ever push e4 because it's opening up my bishop. Now his bishop's completely cut off. And because it's right in the corner, there's no like moving around like you sometimes can. So this bishop's pretty much stuck. And I mean, okay, I have maybe ideas of a takes b5. I think that only benefits me. I mean, if he goes like bishop b7, I'd have this really cool move, queen b5. So yeah, I think my next plan is a takes b5. And right, he's not threatening to take here immediately, but I could see him playing some move like this, or actually he can't push his f-pawn. So what is he going to do here? Actually, he's got to make some improving move. That actually makes a whole lot of sense. And unfortunately stops my whole idea. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should have just gone for this, because here I would have had this, and if bishop b7, I could have gone here. Yeah, I honestly think a takes b5 would have just been completely winning, but it is what it is. I'm just going to go ahead and preemptively play c3. Now, if you try something like e4, I could still go a takes b5 potentially. But I mean, now it's queen sliding over. Yeah, I think I just had a takes b5 there. I don't know what he could have done against that, to be honest. That is just a tad bit frustrating there, but whatever. Okay, so knight f5 is an idea. Okay, and he goes for a takes b4. Wow. Okay, but his queen can't ever come in, so I'm not as worried about that. Knight d3 is a possibility. Go for this. If b4, I can go knight c5. And I'm kind of threatening knight b4 here, so you kind of would seemingly want to do something to stop me from playing knight b4. I guess queen c7 still is a move here, because I can't ever take here. He's just coming down this way, so. Okay, interesting. He takes that instead, but like now I think knight b4. This looks pretty good. Okay, I'm looking at this move, rook b3. It looks really crazy, but the idea is I want to take here. I'm going to go for rook b3. He's not going to be expecting this move. Yeah, but can I still not just take here though, eh? Well, it takes rook b5. Oh wait, I just have this now. Alright. Oof. I think I missed an easier win there, but we'll take it. Okay, this is crazy having a minute. I mean, I like it. It slows the game down for sure. It makes defending these early queen attacks probably a bit easier, because I think Leisha's strategy was just push upon a diagonal from your queen and pray, right? And no disrespect to him. I mean, he's leading the tournament for a reason. He's a phenomenal 960 player. It's no disrespect. I just think, you know, as white, if you want to try to get an early queen attack, you're just going to push one of these pawns no matter what. One of the pawns is diagonal your queen. So it kind of helps having an extra 30 seconds to think from the black side and try to decide how you want to defend. Okay, it looks weird, but like b5 is a consideration here, although probably don't want to go into that, but just kind of counterattacking here. What other options? f6, e5, or one of these knights coming in? I guess if knight g to f6, that looks pretty good. If f3, I could definitely go here, starting this. So let's go here, because I like this too, because it also takes away a piece from this explosion, if I end up allowing it to happen. Okay. I kind of want to go d5. I could also go knight e4 and then just repeat with this knight. Or actually knight e4 and then like knight d6. Could be pretty nice. Yeah, let's go for this. Let's go knight e4. I'm always happy to trade my knights off for bishops in 960, so I'm happy to go for this. Okay, yeah, but I kind of did realize that right after I played it, he can go for this. But it's not too bad, because I can go d5, and if takes, I have knight c3. So he'll probably end up taking this way, and I can just try to build a center now. I think it's got to be e5. I just got to be a little weary if something like g5 would open up queen h3 and hit me this way. And also, it's a weird looking move, but rook d5 could be a tactic later on I need to be wary of, because right now the only real way to stop mate would be c6 there. So he could potentially do me dirty there. Okay. I guess c6 makes a lot of sense. I want to be able to push one of these pawns. That's why I'm going c6, mainly so that I can open up d4, and then kind of both of his bishops will be cut off. As it stands right now, his bishops are kind of both actually pinning my pawns, rather than my pawns stopping his bishops. I mean, they are, but really my pawns are also kind of pinned, so they can't do much right now. And here is exhibit A of why this is a problem, because if I go b6 to defend this square, then he's got knight f4, but I think I don't really see a better move, actually. I think I've got to go b6. I'm expecting knight f4. And then my f-pawn's essentially pinned at that point, but I could go g6. It's actually a nice move, cutting off h5 first knight and opening up my bishop and stopping this explosion from happening. If I ever do have to play e4 as a last resort, he can't play, you know, bishop takes g7 there. So, yeah, knight f4, I think I'll just go g6. Okay, he goes for this instead. Now there's pawn b5, rather. This also really sucks because my bishop is pinned in here, so his position is definitely better here. a4 probably will meet with a5. But yeah, this bishop, he's completely dominating me right now because this bishop is just terrible. One plan that I see for myself is to go f6. One thing it does is after knight f4, I can now take. And also it opens up queen g8 in this diagonal. The problem is that if I go f6, then both of my bishops are completely cut off. So if he's able to stop this diagonal from my queen, feels like my position is much worse there. I guess another consideration would be g6 followed by f5, or even, yeah, g5 followed by f5. So maybe it's not completely over for me here. Okay, yeah. Like I said, he may go for this. So I have to play f5 now to cut off queen h3. And after it takes, I would have gone g5, so that move makes a lot of sense. I guess, I mean, it's pretty much forced, right? I've got to cut off this e6 square now. He's got knight h5, and I'll have to go sidestep with queen e8. But then I can play g6. And, you know, after knight h5, queen e8, he really doesn't want to take here, I don't necessarily think. Because then I have d4 potential, rolling this pawn down. This d-pawn may be my chance to win here. Wow, that is such a bold move, but it kind of works. I mean, I can't take here because then there's queen h3, so taking is completely off the board. But I kind of am also wondering what his main threat is. I don't see it off the top of my head. I'm going to go g6. I was honestly kind of worried that he would play g6. And if I take that, he'll have knight g6, which is just a really strong move. And if I push, then my bishop's literally toast forever. I actually think g6 could have been a really strong move for him that he missed. So I'm going to respond with g6, at least opening up my queen here, or my bishop rather. Okay, now he's putting a lot of pressure here. I may be completely screwed, but okay, I at least have d4, right? I'm not completely screwed because I can defend with queen f5 and his bishop's cut off. If bishop e4 there, then yeah, sure, I'm probably screwed. Okay, actually I can go knight e6 instead. Never mind, knight e6 instead of... I knew pushing this pawn was important for a number of reasons. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what it was. He just starts with that. And even though this is threatening mate, he can stop mate and threaten it at the same time, so... Yes, after bishop e4, I think I have to go queen g4. But okay, maybe that's not too bad for me, because then I can actually castle after that. And once again, this bishop is just completely toast. But it's not, the position doesn't feel completely lost yet. I'll just say that much. Feels like there's something to fight for. That's a really good move. Okay. Okay, if I take there. I mean, it feels kind of like I'm screwed either way. I'm just going to go for this. I mean, there's some like d3 scam ideas, opening up the bishop here. Okay, that was definitely not the right idea then, I guess. Okay, I can go for this. Oh, wow, he takes with rook. I did not expect that at all. He can go bishop b5 here, but then I'll have queenside castles. That's a really strong move. Wait, can I make a draw here? Or can I win? Wow, okay. Do not feel like I deserve to win that game, but we found a way there. That's what I love about 960. It's like never over because the positions are just so insane. Okay. Again, the move that I would definitely play is b4, c4 here. That's what I would always play. The problem is both of them can be cut off by knights. But then there's a question of then can I just develop my knight, which I think the answer is yes. Okay, but then he could... okay, it's tricky. Okay, actually, no, it's got to be b4. c4 doesn't threaten mate, so... If e3, I can threaten this, but then there's still like knight f6. So let me just go b4 here, I think. Okay, interesting. He's wanting to play queen h4. And actually, I can defend with e4 because of queen h4. No, I can't. Never mind. I was going to say there's no queen h6 because you're not hitting my king. So I really have to go like g3 or maybe knight g3 actually makes more sense. The problem with knight g3 is that you could still go queen h4. But then there's maybe knight f3. b5, e4, and there's no takes. Okay, yeah, let's go. Oh, let's not do that. Let's go knight g3. Because with queen h4, I think I would have knight f3. Yeah, and there I can just go e4 now. Maybe he'll go g6 now. Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense because I can't really go knight h5. There's always queen h4. Now I may actually have to play this kind of ugly move h4 because if I don't, queen h4 does actually become a pretty strong threat there. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. The sad thing is it's just not a really fun move to make. It's probably honestly not the right move. I mean, his knights are a little clunky here, but even knight f6, yeah, that move makes a lot of sense. I kind of am thinking I'll just go c4. But I just really didn't want to allow queen h4 because then I had to play well, I didn't have to play h3, but it's just like my knight's pretty much always pinned there, so. Interesting. So if D takes, I'm threatening bishop G7. Like, I see that he has bishop F4, but then bishop G7, and it seems like I'm much better, so I think I'm just going to go for this. Other move he can go for is takes there. Okay, wow, that's really strong. So I think I just have to go F3 there and takes. I just got to give up some material here. That's a really good find, actually. I mean, this move makes a lot of sense, but I think it just loses to D takes E. Now if D takes E, I can at least go D5. Yeah, really good find by Natto there. I'm not too upset having this. I'm down a pawn, but I have an open F file here, which is pretty nice. I can castle and castle with a tempo. If he castles, it is actually a little worse for him because his knight's still stuck in the corner because he's played G6, although I said it is a good move. His knight is kind of stuck in the corner right now, and that means my bishop can hit it with a tempo. So I would be just a tad bit worried if I were him here. Okay, he does end up castling, but I guess I need to respond with castling. Maybe F5, maybe F6. F6 is the safer move for sure, but it potentially allows Queen G4. And then he'd probably have to go F5 anyway, so. But let's think about this. No matter what, let's say he starts F5 or if I go Queen G4 first. I'm looking at takes. Okay, yeah, so takes. D5. I want to take, but I just... seems like this just doesn't quite work. Takes D5, takes. Say bishop E5, rook takes, and then there's at least knight F7. Yeah, okay. And I can't take with pawn because then this rook is coming down here. Yeah, but King H1 actually sets up some dirty traps, but it also pins this pawn, which isn't great. Pins that pawn to my king, so I'll go knight F3. If he takes, I can go D5 then. Cutting off his bishop. And he really can't afford to sack his queen. I could either go bishop E4 or G4. Really, either one works. But okay, then like now knight F7 is working because he obviously the E pawn is still pinned, but knight F7 works. So it's not clear how to break through now. I'll probably just end up playing something like G4. Oh wait, actually knight F7 I would have maybe rook, bishop F5, queen F6, bishop E5. Yeah, wow, okay, so actually he can't play knight F7 yet, I don't think. Which means I think I'm still just going to go G4. Just want to unpin this pawn mainly, but also like technically getting a little bit of pressure. Maybe G3 could have been more solid too, but this is fine. Yeah, still definitely no knight F7 for him. Looking at queen E2. Wow, he does go for knight F7. Okay, I guess now it works that I can no longer take this, but I can come here. Yeah, that had to be a mistake. No way, he just completely missed this move, I think. Oh, queen D3. Okay, I am the one that completely missed a move. That's unfortunate. Alright, and he's up a pawn there. Yeah, I probably was losing anyway with his queen coming in because my queen was on E2. So yeah, I think it was probably over anyway, but I thought he had just blundered allowing my queen to come in, but then he was able to hit my rook. Alright, up 2-1, but he's got the white pieces here with a chance to tie it back up. So this is pretty much, if I win this match, I'll still be in the running for the 960 victory. If I lose this match, then I pretty much have no chance. So a lot riding on this match. And he opts to start with c4. And I think I'll just respond with e5. Allowing some queen h4. He's not threatening mate here, so I'm not forced to respond to it. Now f5, knight g5. I have knight g6 there. I'm not too worried about this. He can't really move the knight there because then I'll have queen h4. Which I guess technically he would have knight g3. Takes here, knight g3. But I could go queen d4 in here. It seems like I'm getting some material back. Or like I could even play b5 there maybe. Go for some attack. So this feels like the right idea, because also I'm threatening to come in and hit both of these pawns. So yeah, like he couldn't just like push one and then I come and then he comes in. Like he had to do something like this. I'm playing this move because he can't play d5 because then I'll have knight f4. And if e4, then maybe I have takes. So yeah, I was thinking to probably have to do something like this. Wow, this almost works here. g3 takes. In fact, I'm looking at just going for it. No, but he does now have d5. The problem is I need to prepare for knight f7 because it's like h6, but then there's knight h7. Yeah. A knight f6 maybe? I hate being down on time in 960. Though the thing is, I kind of wanted to keep this diagonal open so I can go queen h4, knight g3. And actually that would just be mate, but the problem is like he could play a move like h4 and then now he's still threatening this stuff. But I can no longer get my queen out. So I was trying to see if I have like c6, but yeah, then just h4. My queen's not able to run this way, so this way I have some chances here, and if he ever comes here, I can always castle. Threatening here, like some stuff. Yeah, like if knight f7 castles, he won't have time to take, so that's one benefit there. Oh, okay, that's pretty lame. I think I'm just going to be completely losing here. This has got to be my best chance to stay alive. But then there's, oof. That's juicy. Right. Yeah, that also works. It all works. Okay. I'm trying to think if I... No. Yeah, that's a beautiful move. All right. He ties it up 2-2. Here we are into game 5. So it's basically we've just reset, and now it is just a best 3 out of 5. So, okay. Thinking 93 and some f5, knight d5, bishop takes d5. So if f5, so basically I think maybe I should just start f4. Let's go for that. Okay, wow. I mean, now if takes, I'm still looking at 93 d5. Seems not so good. I could also start with 93. If takes, then I could play knight d5 there and something like knight c7, but it honestly just doesn't seem great. And there's no real way to take advantage. Like 93 takes knight d5, c6. I don't really have any way to get this bishop out and take advantage of that. Okay, so I think I can't afford to get greedy here. I need to play either b3 or c4. I'll go c4. It also opens up the bishop this way. It's like, say he goes b6, or even like, yeah, now there's some potential for this to be overworked. Interesting. Yeah, I want to go queen d3, but then there's bishop c4. Maybe also b4. I'm just going to go for this. I need to start playing quicker. I'm spending way too much time. Putting pressure here. If he goes b5, like, just, I do technically have the initiative here, so I think a4, like, if I go b takes, then there's some bishop a5 probably, so it doesn't seem great. So I'm thinking probably a4. Either that or e3 is another strange consideration, but I think it's just too slow. I want to get this bishop here, but it just seems really slow. I mean, maybe not, but I guess I'll start with a4. I need to really hurry up here. Now taking makes sense because I'm threatening bishop a4, so he's got to probably play a4 here. And he does. I'm going to go e4 instead. I could go e3, but it's cutting off this bishop. And, like, honestly, he'd probably have something like e5 anyway, so. Yeah, I don't know. This is tricky. Nats is so good, man. He's so good about spending such a small amount of time and still knowing the right ideas. Okay, I've got to start making something happen here. Otherwise, I'm just going to get flagged. Bishop f3 and bishop g4 are both considerations. Like, yeah, I'm not too worried about this. I could go bishop e3. This move stops bishop e6, stops knight e6. Also maybe opens up this diagonal as well. So it seems, I guess I didn't even think about bishop g5 though. Also bishop f6. Yeah, this is actually very scary. Bishop f6 is a super scary move. I guess I would go d4. And if takes, I guess I'm technically the first one coming in, but also like it just kind of makes you say like I probably just should have started d4. Would have been much cleaner. Okay. Oh wait, I have to. I've got to do something about that. Okay, this is not good. Yeah, I should have just started d4. I totally was not even considering this. Okay, Wow, that was... Oh, wow, because takes, and then... Wait, what in the world? That's insane. And then queen e5. Or even... Oh my gosh, that's so good. That's really cool, actually. Yeah, I think I should just play d4 instead of f5. I was getting so concerned with that diagonal. I just kind of preemptively played f5, but I think d4 would have been much better. All right, we're down 3-2. Let's lock back in here. Let's bounce back here and get a break as the black pieces. This is pretty much a must-win game here. If we don't win this game, it's going to be a very big uphill battle from here on out. Okay, we need to take a lot of time here to figure this out. So whatever starts, queen d3, queen e4, queen f5, technically bishop a4 as well. So d5 loses to queen f5. So I can't go d5. I guess c6 is probably the main consideration, which actually looks pretty good as well because I think it's got to be c6. Because the other thing that c6 does is it opens up my bishop to the a5 square. So after queen f5, e6, there's none of this hitting everything. Okay, but he's just going to instantly start putting pressure on me here. I guess it's got to be... I need to just really speed up, to be honest. Oof. It's got to be queen d6, only move. Oh boy. Okay, but I can mirror him. I can play bishop. Oh, no. But when he takes, it's going to be tragic. Oh my gosh, dude. I always lose to the early queen attacks. All right. He took us on that one. Okay, here we go. He's managed to take us down 4 in a row here, so let's lock back in though. Let's make it interesting. Okay, I'm thinking g4 is a possibility. Also just knight d3, although then there's c5. Yeah, I hate that. There haven't been any good knight moves so far, which normally I like to find the good knight moves. Well, let's just go for this. If c5, I can go here still and just trade it off. It's fine. I mean, generally speaking, if someone's able to do something like this where they push upon 2 squares and they're able to defend a knight, like, then I will generally not go for it, but I'm just going to go for it in this instance because I don't see anything better. Okay, yeah, and he ends up deciding that the bishop is strong enough to where he doesn't want to trade it off for the knight, which I think is valid. But now I can go c4, opening up something like knight e5 and takes. He blocks it. Okay. Wow, and already he's got some nasty ideas of this and like potentially coming in. I mean, my knight's defending it for now, but feels like I need to do something about that. I guess this shouldn't be too slow. Like knight g6 isn't too big of a threat because I'm not too worried about him taking here, and I'm not really worried about him coming here either. Although I should be worried about him coming here because then that's actually a big threat. Yeah, and this is... I just completely missed this knight f6 because I was thinking he would do something over here on the queen side, but this knight f6 really messes with me because there's like no way to stop knight e4 now. Oof. Okay, I guess technically 94 here, and then this knight's threatening to come in like this. But actually, I'm likely just screwed. Wait, I think it might be forced mate. 94, if d3, bishop a4, b3, queen b2. I think he's surely going to start 94. The question is, does this help me survive at all? And I think the answer is no. Oh, I can play d4. Okay. That is the one idea I have to cut off his queen. Still looks really bad after bishop a4, or even that, yeah. But okay, at least we're surviving this position, though. At least we've got some chances here. It's not forced mate like I was worried about. Okay, maybe opening up the queen this way. It's actually not a bad position at all. These pawns are pretty strong. He's busy kind of playing defense mode here, so I think that could have been much worse. I'm honestly probably just going e4, allowing this. Oh, that's so good. Queen h3, g5 takes. Seems okay. You can also just play kind of a quiet move in e6. Problem is e5, bishop e4. I guess I'd have to go something like bishop d3 there, which is actually not that bad, so maybe I shouldn't be so worried, because bishop d3 is a move I kind of want to play anyway, opening up rook c1. Knight b6, I'll probably go... well, actually, knight c6, I can't really afford to go rook c1, because then there's knight a4. Dude, and this guy is just so good. Oh my gosh, Natsa, would you chill, bro? Quit making all the best moves. This really doesn't threaten anything, because after queen h4, you can just go g5. Yeah, and just all my pieces are like... seem to be really misplaced. Like, actually, my queen on h3 is pretty weak. Okay. Maybe this gives me some life. If takes, then I can go rook c1, getting some counterplay, and if he then goes bishop c2, then it's stopping this this pin on my knight. So, of course, such a patient move, but it's such a good move, honestly, because, yeah, I still can't really afford to go 95. It's just going to be bishop takes here. I can't go g3 because then there's bishop takes here. Like, all of his pieces. Dude, Natso, you got to chill, bro. You've got to chill. I'm kind of hesitant to castle. I mean... but I got to create something here. I got to figure out a way to create something. Okay, it looks like a weird move, but... once again, if knight takes here... okay. Some ideas of d5, maybe. At least something, like, except for the fact that the queen would just absolutely obliterate me there. Okay, here. And then if bishop were to take, then there's d5. Maybe? But also, feels like I'm just losing this. If takes d5, he could just queenside castle. Feels helpless. And that's even better. Yep. All right. Well played, Natso. That dude is so strong. It's making me wonder how he hasn't won all of his 960 matches. I mean, granted, I was distracted there for a couple of them, but he's just so strong. He just... completely outplaying me in all of them. Yeah, see, look, I feel like getting the knights out is always pretty good in 960, to be honest. But sadly, I just didn't have the right follow-up. And I knew as soon as he played this move g6, which seems like he maybe even had better, but as soon as, like, I knew that this was just scary stuff, honestly. And then, yeah. Knight c5. Interesting. All right, well, that's going to do it for the video. Natso takes it there, which means we fall, sadly, to 4 out of 6, which means our hopes for winning the tournament are all but over. But we can still try to finish strong, win the last 2 rounds, hopefully. Finish 6 out of 8, and maybe if we do finish 6 out of 8, we'll surely finish on the podium at the very least. But anyway, I'm tired. I just played back-to-back matches against one of the greatest atomic chess players of all time, certainly one of the greatest, if not the greatest currently. So Natso, thanks for the games. This was a lot of fun, and yeah, just absolutely crushing. I have not been crushed like this by anyone in 960 before. But anyway, that's gonna do it for today's video. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.